مصلحا ومجددا فارنوا بنظر طاهر وجنان.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As for the life or death of a prophet, we have 124,000 prophets. All have come and all have died. Hazrat Isa alayhi salam is included in them. Unless we find a clear evidence from the Quran that he went with his body up to the heavens and is alive, other than that, it would come under mutashabihat. When we look at the Quran, there's over 30 verses that prove Hazrat Isa alayhi salam has died, and the Quran makes it clear that he will never return to the world. The first verse I will present is chapter 3, verse 144, where Allah the Almighty says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ. That Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is nothing but a messenger. All messengers before him have already died. This includes Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. There is no exclusion. And I challenge the brother to provide any scholar who has under this verse said that Isa alayhi salam is excluded in ar-Rusul. After that, when we go to the Arabic lexicons, because most Muslims, they try to argue on the word khala. Any Arabic lexicon you go to, you'll see that khala falanun ay mata. Khala here means death, and there's no difference of anyone on this issue. All the tafsir agree with me, all the Salafi tafsir, etc. Now let's go to the first ijma of the Sahaba. What happened when the Prophet ﷺ passed away? Sahih Bukhari Kitab al-Maghazi shows that Hazrat Umar was in shock, and he says, anyone who says that the Prophet ﷺ has died, I will cut their neck off. Hazrat Abu Bakr came, saw the blessed body of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, picked up the cloth and said, "Lan yaj'alallahu alayka al-mawtatain," that Allah will never gather two deaths upon you. And then he gave a beautiful speech in which he said that anyone who worshipped Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam know that he has died, and anyone who worshipped Allah know that Allah is forever alive. And that's what calmed down Umar. And then the Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu recited this verse, that وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ, that all messengers before the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam have died. And Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu says when he heard this verse, he went to the ground and he was shivering. And when we look at the Sahaba after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, go to Sirat of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, who you said you were Salafi, so he's a great scholar of yours. He said that Hazrat Jarud radiallahu anhu gave a speech in which he mentioned Isa alayhi salam and Musa alayhi salam, and he said, Asha kama ashu wa mata kama matu. Ibn Taymiyyah, a great scholar, you could read his commentary. He agrees with me as well that no messenger is excluded from here. And he mentions that no messenger lived forever, and the messengers before the Prophet ﷺ have passed away. The second verse I'm providing is chapter 5, verse 117. And when Allah will say, "O Jesus, son of Mary, did you say to men, take me and my mother for two gods beside Allah?" He will answer, "Holy art thou. I could never say that to which I had no right. If I had said it, you would have surely known it. Thou know what is in my mind, and I know not what is in thy mind. You are the knower of all things." Then Hazrat Isa mentions two time frames. I said nothing to them except that which thou command me. Worship Allah, my Lord and your Lord. And I was a witness over them as long as I remained among them. But when you caused me to die, فَلَمَّا تُوَفَّيْتَنِي كُنْتَ أَنْتَ رَقِيبَ عَلَيْهِمْ, then only you were a witness over them. Now look at Sahih Bukhari Kitab al-Tafsir, Surah Al-Maidah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself does tafsir of فَلَمَّا تُوَفَّيْتَنِي as أَمَّاتَنِي, when you caused me to die, giving the name of Isa alayhi salam. So we have the Prophet system. Look at the context of Arabic dictionaries. They agree. Al-wafatul maut, tawaffahu Allahu qabada ruhahu. Quran agrees with me. Anytime tawaffa is used, Allah is fine. A person is the maf'ul bihi. It means death or sleep. There's no third option for tawaffa. Ibn Abbas, Sahih Bukhari, Kitab al-Tafsir says, Inni mutawaffika mumituka. There's ijma of Sahaba on this. No companion has ever given any other meaning for the tawaffa of Isa alayhi salam. Even Ibn Taymiyyah in Jawab al-Sahih agrees that tawaffa here means wafat. Ibn Hazm agrees with me. He says people argue on this, but the right meaning here is death in his book. I have the scans here if you need. So these are two clear-cut verses from the Holy Quran that prove that Hazrat Isa has died and will never return. I bring a challenge on the word tawaffa that provide an evidence that whenever Allah is calling tawaffa, it means other than death. Whenever it's used in Quran or Hadith, it means death.
Yeah. Okay, Yallah, Bismillah ar-Rahmaan ar-Rahim. So I'm going to approach this debate differently. Brother Razi has already made his claims, but I'm going to repeat them and show how this doesn't work. So, but I will add a few. Sahih Muslim 2937a, Nabi is mentioned 4 times. Therefore, the Ahmadis believe that the prophet to come is someone else. The definition of prophet here is not given by the Ahmadis or why. They believe that is the case. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2. Actually, going back to number 1, if that was, it doesn't mention anything about him being a new prophet. This idea of a law-bearing prophet is not mentioned in any hadith in the Sunan books. Claim 2 is that Aisha radiallahu anha said, "Do not say that he is the last one," and this is in Al-Musannaf ibn Abi Shaybah, hadith number 27170. But the issue is that this hadith is mursal, and even on the website, Ahmadi answers, it is not mentioned that this hadith is mursal. So the question is, why is that? Number 3, a Sufi source is being used also in Kitab Khatam al-Awliya on page 341. It claims that this idea of last of the prophets is gossip, but the author does not provide reasons for it. And the author is Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Ali ibn al-Hasan ibn Bashar al-Tirmidhi. Now, in Sahih Bukhari, volume 4, book 55, hadith number 661, Rasul explicitly says, "There is no prophet after me." In volume 4, book 56, hadith number 735, and in Sahih Muslim 2286c, the Prophet, peace be upon him, uses the analogy of a house and its bricks, and he says, "I am the last brick and the last prophet." One of the names of Rasul is Aqib, meaning the last. In Lane's Lexicon, book 1, page 703, the last of the prophets is what is being defined when 3340 is quoted. In Mufradat al-Quran by Imam Raghib on page 143, referring to chapter 33, verse 40, where the Quran says that he is Khatam al-Nabiyyin, it says, "Tamaha bi majrahi," meaning that there is no one to come after him. Now, when we talk about 735, we're saying, it says about the children of Adam, if a messenger comes to you. In the tafsir, if you read in any tafsir, it will show that this is Allah warning us about messengers who have come to us, including the Rasul, not about people to come. Now, moving on to the claim that Jesus died, 3144 has already been addressed, and I will rebut that. 5717 has been addressed, and we will rebut that. In terms of lexicons, in Lane's Lexicon, page 3057, wafa, the root word, in entry 5, it says, "God took his soul in death or in sleep," and chapter 6, verse 60 of the Quran is quoted to prove that tawaffa can also mean sleep, not literal death. In Anwaar, page 1086, tawaffa means God has taken him to himself or to die. In Kalimat al-Quran, in Tafsir wa Bayan by Hassanin Muhammad Makhluf, on page 70, if you read it online, or page 65 if you have the book, it means raised alive. And in the Arabic, it says, بِرَفْعِهِ إِلَى السَّمَاءِ حَيًّا. In Tafsir Ibn Kathir, it said, the verse means took me up. In Qurtubi, Jami' al-Ahkam al-Quran, volume 8, page 303, it says the same thing. Let me just quickly read it. Where is it? Here we go. Actually, I'll read it in my rebuttal so I can find it. Let me just continue. Now, but Qurtubi mentions 3 verses. 39:42, it means sleep. In chapter 6, verse 60, it means sleep. in chapter 3, verse 55, it means took you up and raised you, and I'm out of time.
Basically, the brother said he would shock me, and I'm shocked. Wow, not a single answer to anything I said. The first hadith he quoted was Sahih Muslim 2937, where Isa is called the Nabi. That's our argument. I thought you're a non-Ahmadi. We say the latter-day Messiah will be a Nabi. Then you said no new prophet will come. The hadith doesn't say that. La Nabi Abadi. Show me where the prophet said an old prophet can come who is before me, but no new prophet can come. You're adding your own words to the ahadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then you say Hazrat Aisha's narration is mursal. This is also wrong. If you look at your own scholars, they've accepted this narration and done commentary on it. Just because something is mursal, you can't just outright reject it. Look at Hazrat Imam Ibn Qutayba ad-Dinawari. In his book, he says, as for the statement of Hazrat Aisha that says the seal of the prophets, but do not say there's no prophet after him, it's authentic and referring to the latter-day Messiah, his coming, meaning there is no prophet after me, because the prophet meant there's no prophet after me who abrogates what I came with. Sheikh Muhammad Tahir al-Hanafi has said the same. This is exactly what we're telling you, that yes, the Prophet is the last law-bringing prophet. No prophet will now come who goes against his Sharia or abrogates what he came with. Then you said that Sahih Bukhari says La Nabi Abadi. The same hadith say that the Messiah will come and he will be a prophet. So clearly the Prophet ﷺ is saying that there's no prophet who will bring a new law or a prophet who abrogates what I came with. If you look at the Quran supports me and shows that prophethood is open. You quoted a verse for me, chapter 7, verse 36. Ya Bani Adama includes the Muslims. Read the context, but this is the problem. You people take one verse, you listen to your scholars, blindly follow, you don't look at the context of the verses. Muslims are mentioned. Look at Imam Suyuti. He has mentioned that this includes the Muslims and all of mankind. The Hadith Qudsi also proved this. You quoted Al-Aqib. If you read Mullah Ali Qari, he has himself said that Al-Aqib here does not mean last prophet, and these words are added. They are not said by the Prophet himself that there's no prophet after me in terms of Al-Aqib. Then you said if a messenger comes to say I answered that, then you quoted lexicons. I agree that tawaffa can mean sleep. Allahu yatawaffa al-anfusa hina motiha wallati lam tamut fi manamiha. I challenged you, show me where tawaffa. Allah causes tawaffa and it's on a human being and it means other than death or sleep. You have not answered that. I give you Sahaba, I give you the Prophethood, I give you chapter 3 verse 144, the consensus of the companions. You haven't answered anything and you gave points. None proved Isa is alive. None of your verses, you didn't give a single verse proving Isa is alive. Have you forgotten our topic, brother? Is this how desperate we have come? Not a single verse to prove Isa is alive? Wow, that's shocking, man. You just went off topic. Then you said chapter 3 verse 55 means raised alive. I gave you Hazrat Ibn Abbas from Sahih Bukhari. Inni mutawafika mumituka. You have not answered that either. So there's nothing you answered. Sahih Bukhari Kitabu to say Ammatani for Falamat Wafetani. Why is Isa unaware of the shirk on the day of judgment? You never addressed that either. Then you mentioned that wafat means death. I'm saying that. You're supporting me again, brother. This is a debate. If you already believe Isa died, then there's no point of wasting our time in Ramadan. So as for how much time do I have left?
You've got 1 minute after,
okay.
Yeah. So
1 minute left.
24 minutes. At 24 minutes, you stop.
Okay, cool. So because you gave no verse at all to prove that Hazrat Isa is alive, let me give you some more verses, okay? So let me give you a hadith actually, because the verses you can't answer anyways. So look at the Miraj of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He went in Miraj. He mentioned he met the prophets. He never mentioned that he saw Isa with his body. The Quran says the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not niggardly in regards to the unseen, and he made it clear that it was all the souls of the prophets, not their bodies. Ibn Qayyim has said the same. So have many other scholars. I end with the hadith which says Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that may the curse of Allah be on the Jews and Christians who took the graves of prophets as mosques. The difference between Jews and Christians in terms of worship, like the Jews, the only difference really is Isa. The Prophet spoke of the grave of Isa. Another hadith, authentic, says that Isa died at the age of 120. Mujam al-Kabir and Kanz al-Umal narrate this hadith. So please answer my points. Jazakallah.
Okay, Bismillah. Now, first of all, I don't know why you're saying I haven't answered anything. That was supposed to be the opening statements. Now, what you didn't realize is I was giving your arguments and rebutting them at the same time, which is why I was providing lexicons that say the contrary. Now, thanks for agreeing with me that matawaffa doesn't always mean death. Now, in the hadith that you said that quotes chapter 5 verse 117, I have here Fath al-Bari chapter 9 page 131 where the tafsir is for the hadith, and that's the reference for you to show me where it says here that Isa alayhi salam has died. As for Ibn Abbas in Tanweer al-Miqbas by Ibn Abbas on page 105, when he says about what do you call it, mutawaffa, he says rafa'u hayy. And even in al-Qurtubi on page 303, it says the same thing, rafa'u hayyan. Okay, so those are the references. That's for you to check them out. So this is two sources where it shows that thingy. As for your 124,000 thing, which was your opener, that is a weak hadith because it's narrated by Ibn Hibban, hadith number 361, and it's not the only hadith about those prophets, but that is a side topic. I just want to show that people that you do not know your references and you don't know what's sahih or not. In terms of mursal, you said that hadith is accepted. You haven't provided any references. In fact, you haven't provided any references for any of your claims, so I can easily dismiss them until you provide something for me to look at. Now, I gave you Lane's lexicon, Hansware, Kalimat al-Quran, Tafsir Ibn Kathir, and Qurtubi, where it shows that Mutawaffa doesn't mean. In terms of the hadiths, in terms of seal of the Prophet, when the Prophet, peace be upon him, put the metaphor that he is the last brick, that means there's no other brick. Now, when you're saying that there is going to be another prophet to come, but not a law-bearing one, it doesn't make sense because the last brick has already been placed. Anything that we have in hadith, and as well, the Quran in chapter 5, verse 3 says that the religion has already been perfected. So what more needs to happen? Absolutely nothing. Now, the hadith that I quoted, that you were happy that I quoted for you, Sahih Muslim 2937a, you're saying, oh, well, this backs us up, you know, because he's going to be a Nabi. Now, this is not an issue. It doesn't. The issue here is actually for you, because you're saying that Jesus alayhi salam is not the prophet. It's Ahmad Ghulam. Now, Ahmad Ghulam is not the one to come, because it's just astonishing, because Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam already prophesied of who is going to come after him, okay, as the Messiah, and it's Jesus alayhi salam. Yet you use this hadith as a point for you. I don't understand how. I started at 24, so I've got a minute and a half left. Okay, let's see, what else have I got? You talked about 735. Now, I want you to quote the tafsir for me, where it says that after the Prophet, peace be upon him, in the tafsir where it says after the Prophet, peace be upon him, another prophet will come. This is in the tafsir that I want you to quote for me in 735. In fact, the context starts in verse 34, where they're saying, where Allah tells us that messengers have come to us, and then he warns us in 35 that he sent messages, and therefore we have to think it. In chapter 3, verse 144. Now, you're talking about khalat. It's actually not khalat, that's the issue. It's the preposition min. Now, min means from. So if we say min qablihi al-rusul qad khalat, it means from the messengers before him. It doesn't mean all the messengers before him. This is a linguistical thing, but I do appreciate that you have come clean and said that you are still a student of Arabic. Inshallah, may Allah give you more knowledge in the Arabic language. Inshallah, I mean. So this is an issue with language. Now, no tafsir says in about chapter 3, verse 144, that there will be another messenger after him either. The hadith that you quote is a red herring. It doesn't show that there will be another prophet afterwards, and that is time.
Once again, you have not provided any single answer to any of the argument I quoted. You're quoting my points from the Twitter debate. Forget to answer what I'm quoting now. First, you said I accepted mutawaffa is not always death. I have made it clear from the start that it can mean sleep as well, but you don't believe that. You mean it believes Allah took him into the heavens bodily. I gave you Hazrat Ibn Abbas, inni mutawaffika mumituka, and in response, you pulled such a weak tafsir out. I can give you thousands of scholars who have said this tafsir is zaif. The one you're quoting of Ibn Abbas, you blindly followed it from Google. Hafiz Ibn Hajar, Imam Bukhari, they all agreed that these narrations are false and this entire tafsir is to be rejected. Hazrat Ibn Abbas never wrote a full tafsir. To find this tafsir, look at the narrations of Ibn Abi Talha. Then you said, where's the narration of 5117? I told you, Kitab al-Tafsir, Surah Al-Ma'idah, the Prophet does commentary of chapter 5, verse 117, and shows that when he was amongst the Sahaba, he knows what he did, but after his death, he's unaware of what happened, and he quotes Hazrat Isa. Please mute your mic. The next thing is, you said 124,000 prophets is zaif. Fine, reject it. It doesn't matter. The Prophet the Quran says, وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِ رُسُولٍ. 200,000 prophets, 300,000, take a million. They've all passed away according to the Quranic ayah. I give you the ijma of the Sahaba, Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. Even on Twitter, I doubted you're a Shia, and now I'm having doubts again because I give you the ijma of the Sahaba and you aren't addressing it. I give you Ibn Abbas, inni mutawfika mumituka, you didn't address that either. Then you said, seal of Prophet, last break. Brother, you quoted Fathul Bari yourself. Open Fathul Bari and read the interpretation of this verse from your own scholar, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahmatullahi alayh. He never said the meaning you're saying. Let's read what he said. He said that Prophet Muhammad is the leader of all prophets, and he said in this hadith the purpose is to allude to the perfection of the law of Muhammad in comparison to the laws of the past. So that hadith refutes you as well and proves us right that Khatam al-Nabiyyin refers to him being the best of the prophets, and this is supported by Arabic as well. Look at your own Arabic books, how they use Khatam even pre-Quran and post-Quran, Khatam al-Muhaddisin, Khatam al-Muhajirin, etc. There's so many references on this. Then you said the religion is complete. Ahmadis agree. Once again, you're quoting things I don't even disagree with. The Prophet when Surah Al-Jumu'ah was revealed to him, he said, the Sahaba asked him, who are these people? And he said that in the end times when Iman is on the Suraya, this is Bukhari Kitab al-Tafsir, Surah Al-Jumu'ah, a man from the Persians would revive the faith. So perfection of law does not negate coming of a spiritual second coming of a prophet within the Ummah. This is proven from the Quran. Then you said he will be a Nabi, but Isa is the name used. Isa has died. He is not coming. The Prophet said, Imamukum minkum, that latter-day Messiah will be your Imam. In Sahih Bukhari, the Prophet showed that the latter-day Messiah is someone else. He even described their complexion different. The same page, 2 hadiths, you take one, you leave the other, just like the Jews. They believe in some, reject it. Then you showed tafsir that a prophet can come. I told you, chapter 7, verse 35, Ya Bani Adama includes all mankind, and Allah says, if messengers come to you, accept them. So then you said 3144 Qad Khalat doesn't mean death or whatever Arabic rule you said that contradicted all Sahaba. All your tafsir agree that it means death here. Why do you not study your own books? Open your tafsir right now. I challenge you. They interpret khala as Allah has. Afa imata aw kutila. 2 types of khala. And yes, I'm an Arabic student. I'm not arrogant, but you claiming to be fluent in Arabic have denied such clear references. All your scholars disagree with you, and you didn't answer the jarud that mata kama matu wa asha kama ashu.
Okay, so once again, no references cited. A bunch of names have been given, but no references for me to look at, so therefore they can all be dismissed. Now, he's saying Tanweer al-Mikbas is weak. He has provided evidence for that. He can't just say something. He hasn't provided any sources on the ijma' of any scholars about the references that he gave. Now, he's saying 144. It doesn't. I never argued about the word khalat. Yeah, I'm saying that the word khalat here does not mean that everyone has died because of the preposition, the harf jar min, meaning from. So when he says from the messengers, it doesn't mean all the messengers. This is basic Arabic. So again, I did ask actually for you to quote any tafsir of 735 or 3144, where it says that there will be a messenger after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is something that you did not respond to, and you said that I didn't respond to it. Now, in terms of Fath al-Bari, I already told you, I gave you the reference, the page number, the volume, actually, I did not give the hadith, so I'll give you the hadith. Hadith number 4625 on page 131, volume 9 of Fath al-Bari by Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. I have the reference here. It doesn't say anything about Isa alayhi salam being dead. So this is something that you're arguing from silence. It's not in the hadith, and you're saying, oh, this is what it means. I did quote for you Al-Qurtubi as well, that says that he was raised up alive. I even provided the dictionary, Al-Kalimat al-Quran, where it says, Rafa'u Hayy. So I've given 3 sources that indicate explicitly, with references, with page number, volumes, and numbers, that he is alive. And I gave additional verses to show that mutawaffi, or wafa, being the root word, does not always mean death. So why are you specifically taking death as the definition? Now, funnily enough, on your website, those 3 verses that talk about sleep are not listed in your list. So I wonder why that is not the case. In fact, even 5117 is not quoted on your website. This is ahmadianswers.com/Jesus/Quran/5-117. Check the chart of the usage of the word. Quran chapter 5 verse 117 is not listed to mean death in this chart. So that your point fails by your own website. And I have a minute or so left, I believe. How long do I have? 39 actually. I finished, so I've got 2 minutes. Okay, alhamdulillah. Now you're saying I'm misquoting the hadith about him saying that he's the last of the prophets. No, I'm not, because I'm reading it off my screen. You have to show how I'm doing that. I will give you a bone though. In Lughat al-Quran by G.A. Parwez, on page 1727, he does actually translate tawaffaytani to mean death. However, I cannot take this seriously, because he also interprets the word anta as I, because he translate the entire that section of the verse as, then when you gave me death, I was overseeing them. That makes no sense. So this is a source that, even though it corroborates what you want to say, I can still throw it out because he doesn't understand the word enter. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much done. I've covered your points. You've given me no references to look at in this debate.
Cool.
What up on my screen? Therefore,
I think
you can't tell me.
Time's done.
No, I'm on 39. I did not start at 33. I started at 34. Yeah, so I've got 50 seconds. So yeah, you did not give me any references for me to pull up, and actually look at, which is why I'm dismissing them. I don't have time to search for them, considering I only have 5 minutes. 30 seconds. Let's see what else I can do in this last 30 seconds. Well, actually, you pretty much agreed with me. Tawaffa doesn't always mean death, but you insist on a specific translation. And the funny thing is that this translation of death only appears in Ahmadi translations, nowhere else. It doesn't appear in even Shia translations. And again, you haven't provided me any references whatsoever. So, I'm done. I'm just waffling now because I've got nothing to respond to.
Okay.
Yeah.
My first question is that in chapter 3, verse 81, the commentaries say that Hazrat Ali said that Allah is saying that all prophets were taking a covenant from, that if in your life Nabi Sallam comes, go and help him. All prophets died, to this covenant could all obviously not be fulfilled with them physically coming. So they told their ummah that a great prophet will come. Hazrat Isa, according to you, is alive in the heavens today. So why did he not come to help the Prophet during the wars? Because this is a clear covenant, and the narration say that Hazrat Ali said any prophet who is alive, he would come and help. And then if you go to many tafsir, including Tafsir Ibn Kathir, you will see a famous narration under this hadith that Lo kana Musa wa Isa hayeni lama wasi'ahuma illa tibai, that had Musa and Isa been alive, they would have no choice but to follow me. That's my first question.
What was the reference?
This is chapter 3, verse 81. You can open any commentary you like. You'll find these narrations from Hazrat Ali.
So what's the question?
That now you have to answer. I gave the question.
No, but what I'm asking for the question. You
So
talked about
I said
381 and
I told you according to the narrations, it says that that you will believe in him and help him, mean that if any prophet was alive during the time of Nabi Sallallahu, they should have come and help him. This was a covenant taken from them. So where was Hazrat Isa alayhi salam? That's my question, because the narration say hayyan, alive. You know Arabic, I know a little bit of Arabic. I don't claim to be a scholar of Arabic like you, but it's clear that here hayyan is used. You believe Isa alayhi salam is alive. Where was he when during Battle of Badr, during Taif, when people were stoning the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his feet were drenched in blood?
okay, well, okay, I've got 2 minutes to answer this. Okay, I'm reading verse 81 of chapter 3, correct?
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't say anything here about prophets being alive to come and help. It says, and recall of the scriptures when Allah took the covenant of the prophets, when I gave you scripture and wisdom, then they came to you a messenger confirming what is with you. You must believe in him and support him. So this is the prophets saying to the people, if a prophet comes to you, you have to believe in him and support him. This says nothing about a prophet being dead. Okay, and I'm looking at Tafsir ibn Kathir, and what do you call it? Again, it doesn't mention anything. It doesn't mention a hadith of Musa over here at all, or Isa alayhi salam having to come down or being dead. So you've got your references mixed up. Yeah, that's my answer.
Okay.
Question 2.
Yeah, 1 second, because you're saying I gave the wrong reference. So
I'm saying that what you provided does not mention anywhere that the prophets are dead, and it doesn't mention any hadith in Tafsir
the
ibn
reference
Kathir.
was Tafsir ibn Kathir, volume 2, under volume 2 under, and it's also in Fathul Bayan, so it's in volume 2. I can give you the narration as well. Actually, Ibn Qayyim also mentioned this too. So it is in Tafsir al-Kabir. I've read it myself. I have the scans. If you need, I can provide them after. And we agreed on this already, that I can provide the scans after, and so can you. So my second question...
I know, but what I'm... Yeah, go on.
Okay, my second question is that when Hazrat Isa alayhi salam comes from the heavens bodily and he breaks the crosses and kills the swine, do you take these literally, these signs, and will he kill anyone who rejects Islam? Because according to the Salafis of today and many of the past, they said either Islam or the sword. So do you agree with your scholars on this, or do you disagree?
Well, I'm not quoting scholars at the moment. If we look at the hadith that you like to reference, Sahih Muslim, in Sahih Muslim, which I have already mentioned, it does say that he will come. The fact that he's going to come bodily, he will break the cross, and he will kill the swine, and he will kill the Dajjal. Now, this is prophesied by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, like I mentioned, if you believe that Ghulam Ahmad is the Messiah, and he's the prophet after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then why is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam referencing Isa alayhi salam as al-Masih? It makes no sense. So I don't understand why you're asking about what he's going to do physically, because that bears no meaning on the subject. If he's coming down physically, he's alive. So
okay, so you didn't answer my question that will he kill disbelievers or not? Will he kill all the disbelievers, either Islam or the sword? Yes or no?
it's irrelevant to the topic.
You won't answer because you know this is being recorded, and you know you believe in such a violent ideology. My next question is that according to Tafsir al-Tabari, under chapter 3 verse 42, you can open it. There's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that Gabriel informed me that every successive prophet has lived to the half of the age of the predecessors, and verily Hazrat Isa ﷺ lived to 120 years, and I perceive I will live up to 60. This is also narrated in many other books, including Mujam al-Kabir Tabarani and Kanzul Umal as well. It's in the Tafsir as well, like I said, Tafsir Tabari, which is your Tafsir. These are your books. And yeah, so that's the second question. That's the second question, right? Yeah.
No, that's just third question.
Third, okay.
Right, okay. Just to quickly address your comment that I'm fearing. I said that I'm not addressing it because it's not relevant to the topic. The topic is not what will Jesus do when he arrives. The topic is Muhammad ﷺ the last prophet, and did Jesus die? What Isa will do when he returns is not relevant to the subject. As for your question, the reference that you gave me, I don't have access to at-Tabari. So I don't, in this instance, I cannot answer. I can't rebut the thingy, but you haven't actually given me the quote from at-Tabari for me to respond to. So yeah, you know, kind of paraphrasing doesn't help.
Okay, so my fourth question here, mashallah, you're amazing at dodging questions. I've never seen such a skill. My next question is I also mentioned beautiful incident of Jarud radiallahu anhu, which you failed to address, which is in your scholar's Seerat book under his commentary of Wama Muhammadun illa Rasul Qad Khalat min Qabli Rasul Muhammad Ahmad ibn Abdul Wahhab, where he says that Jarud asked the people, what do you believe about Nabi System? What do you believe about Isa and Musa? And he said, Asha kama ashu wa mata kama matu. So you failed to address this, and you failed to address the point of the Sahaba that they had ijma that Qad Khalat min Qablihi Rusul includes all messages. Alif Lam Istaghraqiyya. No messengers excluded. You never quoted a single commentary that says ar-Rusul or Qad Khalat min Qablihi Rusul excludes Isa alayhi salam. Why were you deceptive during the debate? I have 20 seconds to finish. Why were you deceptive during the debate? Why did you not address this point? Why did you not address the Ijma Sabah? Why did you not address Inni Mutawaffika Mumituka? And why did you not address Falamma Tuwaffaytani Ammatani? Jazakallah.
Okay, barakallah fiqh. All right, I made it very clear that you gave me no references for me to respond to. So how am I supposed to respond to something that has not been referenced? That was explicitly clear. It's not about dodging questions. It's about requiring references for what your claims. If you're not providing references, I cannot look at the references and respond. So that's why I didn't respond to it. You have to provide your references. This is a debate. This is not a chit chat. I appreciate that you said that you were going to provide the references afterwards, but that is between me and you. This is, you're not, people are going to watch this, so they expect to hear references that they can themselves check out. As for not responding to the tafsir, I did respond to the tafsir with Tanweer al-Miqwas and al-Qurtubi, which I have cited, which you did not respond to. So that's my answer. Question 5, please.
Okay. So, 1 second. Okay, so you said that I never gave any references, but this is a red herring because I quoted all my references. 1 second, you didn't answer any of the points I raised, and I showed you that the tafsir you're quoting is zaif according to Imam Nisa, Imam Bayhaqi, Imam Yahya bin Mu'in, and Sunnis agree on this. I don't know why you're even arguing. Ibn Hajar said the narrators are accused of lying. There's so many people who have rejected this entire tafsir, including Imam Suyuti. So the next, the last question, this is my 5th question, yeah? Last question. Okay. So my last question for you is that according to the Quran, right, there's not a single verse you gave in this entire debate, alhamdulillah, that Hazrat Isa is alive in the heavens with his body. So the question is, why did you not give this verse? Were you unprepared? Because you said you're going to shock me. And wallahi, you shocked me. So please answer this.
Yeah, no problem. I did provide the reference. In fact, it was the very reference that you tried to use. Chapter 5, verse 117, which I quoted to Tafsir, as well as lexicons to show that Mutawaffa. In fact, the Tafsir and as well in the dictionary, Kalimat al-Quran, I made it very explicit that it says Rafa'u hayyan. Yeah, he was raised alive. Okay, so this is very, very clear. If you missed that point 3 times, it is not my fault. And I proved that this idea of mutawaffa also, meaning death, is not also the case. And I even proved from your own website that's when if you genuinely believed that mutawaffa meant death in the case of chapter 5 verse 117, it would have showed up on your website. So I made that point as well. So don't tell the people that I have not provided you references, and I quoted every single thing, book, page number, and the reference for it in that page.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So do we get
now
any?
It's my turn to,
okay. Okay. Go.
now it's my turn to ask 5 questions. Okay. First of all, question number 1. When in chapter 3, verse 144, when it says, let me bring it up, bring the verse up.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So when it says, "Qad khalat min qablihi al-rusul," I want from you right now a proper reference from a tafsir that says that this means all the messengers died. I want a book, a page number, a reference that says that, because I provided the proposition min to mean from. Okay, so it says min qablihi al-rusul, from before him the prophets. Okay, if you want to translate it properly, it says from the prophets before him. Okay, so this is what it says in chapter 3, verse 104. So the question is, and I repeat, it's actually a request. Give me a tafsir that says this means all of them, and I want it cited. That's question 1.
Okay, so now I answer that, of course. Okay, so you said min qablihi rusul. I agree, it's from the message, but ar-rusul includes Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. It's alif lam istighraqiya. All messengers are included here. Show me any tafsir that excludes Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. Till the day of judgment, you won't be able to do so. The second thing you said is show a single tafsir that says it includes our brother. I gave you your spiritual father's tafsir, Ahmad ibn Abdul Wahhab, where he puts this in his tafsir that it includes all. He even mentions Isa alayhi salam and Musa alayhi salam. That's one tafsir. I give you the ijma of the Sahaba that it includes all. This is why I continuously wonder that are you Sunni or Shia, and you haven't denied being Shia, which confuses me, because I give you ijma of the Sahaba that it includes all of them. Hazrat Abu Bakr recited this verse. Hazrat Umar used to say that no, Nabi Sallam is alive. He went up like Musa went to Sinai, and he will come back and kill the disbelievers. Nabi Sallam, when this was said, Abu Bakr read this verse to show that no, all messengers have died. So I gave you Hazrat Abu Bakr's tafsir, Ijma of Sahaba, and your own scholar Ahmad ibn Abdul Wahhab Siratul Tafsir under this verse. That's the reference to you. Even Ibn Taymiyyah, he includes all prophets. He says Ikhwanihil Mursaleen. He includes them all. He says there is no one everlasting in the world from the prophets except they have died or they are killed. This is the istidlal we get from his commentary. So I've given you the stuff. I don't know if my mic's not working or something, but that's the answer to question 1.
Okay, you didn't actually answer it because I said provide me a citation. You provided me no citation. You gave me names, and you didn't. When you're talking about the L in al-Rusul, it doesn't mean all of them. Okay, this is a lack of Arabic language on your part, unfortunately. May Allah increase you in your knowledge of the Arabic language. Question 2. I would repeat the question, but you know that will waste my questions. Okay, question 2. You claim that chapter 5, verse 117 means death in the case of Isa alayhi salam. Now, if we just to make a quick point, I did provide all the 3 references that are explicit in saying that he was raised alive. And now the question to you is, if it does actually mean death, why is it in your website, Ahmadi Answers? Why is it in your chart? It doesn't mention that verse in terms of referring to death. That's the second question.
Okay. Okay, so first you said I gave no citation. I gave you citation. I gave you Sahih Bukhari, Kitab al-Maghazi. I gave you Hazrat Jarud's incident. I told you Ibn Taymiyyah. No. Stop. I'm answering. I can answer how I want. You can't stop me. Then after that, you said chapter 5, verse 117, death of Isa alayhi salam. You gave me 3 references. I give you Sahih Bukhari. You rejected it and gave me the scholars. Go to the Prophet and his commentary. He gave it to mean death in Sahih Bukhari, Kitab al-Tafsir. Then you said, why does in my chart mention it? Astaghfirullah, brother. Look at my website. I'm addressing that verse and proving it means death. So I'm giving tafsir of other eyes. The entire chart is proving that here it means death, and on the same page I give Sahih Bukhari Kitab al-Tafsir. So don't take my website out of context, because that chart is proving tawaffa means death, which is from Quran, Sunnah, Sahaba, Lughat. You give me dictionaries from later scholars, and you give me meanings from scholars. I give you Sahaba, I give you the Prophet himself. This is the difference with us. I am giving you Salafus Salih material, you're giving me innovated references from later on which contradict the Quran, Sunnah, Ahadith, and the Salafus Salih. That's question 2 done.
Right, okay. Question 3, now just a comment. When I say citation, it doesn't mean a name, it means page number, reference. You know, this is what citation means. You need to understand the idea, the concept of a citation. Okay. So no, you haven't given me anything. All right, question 3. Let's see. Okay, yeah, question 3. Now, if you like to use Sahih Muslim 2000, let me just double check the reference. Yeah, Sahih Muslim 2937a as your claim. However, you believe that he died, yet you use this very hadith that claims that Jesus will return in bodily form, alive. So how do you reconcile between your belief that Jesus died and this hadith that you use to prove that he returns?
Okay, so that question makes no sense at all. But the citation, we agreed that I can give you the references after for saving time. So you agreed to that. Now bring that up as an excuse and deception for the viewers. Okay, I have all the references mentioned. You mentioned, why do I use Sahih Muslim 2937a? Like I showed you, Quran, Hadith, Ijma of the Sahaba make it explicitly clear Isa has died and will never return. So these are hadiths that mention the Messiah is coming. The Prophet said, Imamukum minkum. The Prophet said that he would be someone else. He described them differently. The Quran uses the word kama, that it won't be the same person, it will be someone like him, of Khulafa, chapter 24, verse 55. Now you're going to say, I didn't give you citations, but that's for the audience to decide. The Prophet has used such titles, like for his wives, he said, Sawahibu Yusuf. Does it mean they're literally the companions of Yusuf? Obviously not. So such metaphorical language is used. Quran says he has died, Hadith says he has died, Sahaba said he died. So obviously the latter-day Messiah would be someone from the Ummah, which is present in these hadiths themselves, that Imamukum minkum. He will be an Imam from among you. That's my answer for question 3.
Okay, question 4, just a quick comment on your answer. Again, I said that you're saying his Imam actually is explicit in the hadith that it says Ibn Maryam. So there's only one Ibn Maryam, and that is Isa alayhi salam. So when you're saying it doesn't make sense, you're citing a source that refers to Jesus coming back, and yet you're claiming he died. Subhanallah. Now, question 4. You claim that the hadith in al-Musannaf ibn Abi Shayba, what they call it, is not mursal because it's accepted by other scholars. Now you mentioned a few scholars, but when it comes to mursal hadith, you have to give me a mutawatir hadith that proves that this is a legitimate hadith. So the question is, give me a sahih reference where Aisha is said to have said, do not say last, in terms of chapter 33, verse 40. A mutawatir hadith, I repeat again the question, a mutawatir hadith that is not mursal with a reference that we can check.
Okay, so first you said, why is Ibn Maryam mentioned? I showed you that Quran says he has died and he won't return. I showed you that the Prophet said this Ibn Maryam will be Imamukum minkum. I showed you that the Quran uses Kama, meaning it won't be the same Messiah. I showed you that this Sahih Bukhari mentions 2 different complexions for the Messiah of the past. The Prophet said he would be reddish skin. For the Messiah in the Ummah, Sahih Bukhari, Kitabul Anbiya, he said he will be a brownish man who looks completely different. You never addressed this. Then you said these ahadiths mention the Messiah returning. They don't. You haven't read the ahadiths. This is my issue. The Prophet used the word nazala and ba'atha. Both of these words are used in the Quran, Surah Al-Jumu'ah and chapter 65. For the Prophet, nazala doesn't mean raja, nor does ba'atha mean raja. You should know elementary Arabic. You're Arab, brother. how easy does it get? Then you quoted Ibn Abi Shayba. I don't have to answer that because I never even quoted this reference in the debate. I didn't even quote this reference. Why are you bringing up Twitter stuff? But just to make you smile, I'll give you the answer. I never said it's not mursal. I told you scholars accept it. There's difference amongst the scholars. I accept it as well, and I believe it was authentic. So there, that's your answer for 4. Now your last question.
Okay, question 5. Now, quickly, my question was very specific for saying is for you to provide a reference for a hadith that's not mursal, but you didn't. So chapter 5, question 5. Also, I'm allowed to bring it up. That was one of my points in the opening statement. So, you know, the fact that you didn't answer to it is something else. Okay. Let's see, what else? Okay, so yeah, last question. I quoted three sources that say explicitly, Rafa'u hayyan, yeah, he was raised alive. Now, you know, why do you keep saying that that it doesn't mean that when I've given explicit sources when with citations when you haven't? And in terms of this,
one question.
I know I'm not asking a question. That is the question. Just a quick comment. When you talk about deception, I said I agreed for you to provide me the references. However, I did not say that I will not pull you up on it during the debate. So don't say this is deception. Okay. This was very clear.
Okay. So firstly, all those references are available on my website, which you're already reading, so you can check them out there. Secondly, you said show where Hazrat Aisha said that a prophet can come. Hazrat Aisha and all Sahaba believe the latter-day Messiah will be a Nabi. That's mutawatir. All of them agree that those are hadiths of the Messiah coming are mutawatir. Now you're being disrespectful because you know you haven't answered any of my points. Then you said that 3 references mentioned Rafa'u hayyan. The Quran doesn't say that. This is an interpretation of the scholars. I give you Quran that says Qad khalat min qabli rasul. I give you inni mutawafika. I give you falamma tuwafaitani, Ibn Abbas interpretation. I give you the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's interpretation. I give you the hadith about the graves of the prophets. I give you the hadith of Hazrat Isa dying at 120 years. I give you the hadith of Miraj. You never answered a single point. So these references are of scholars. I give you Quran, hadith, and your own scholars, and you never addressed a single point. And alhamdulillah, thousands will watch this and see the difference between us. I give Quran, hadith, sahaba, and the great ulama. You give me latter-day scholars who misinterpreted Rafa because they knew a Messiah was coming. So they said, let's do ta'wil of the verses. Even though the Quran is clear, Isa has died and he will never return. The prophecies of the latter-day Messiah, according to the Prophet were to be someone else. And I've given you so many Bukhari hadiths on this. You haven't addressed any verse, any hadith, any narration I gave. So that's my answer for question 5, right?
Yep. And 3, 2, 1, go.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Once again, we see that the brother has failed to provide a single verse from the Quran that Hazrat Isa is alive in the heavens. And this is a continuous thing. They come on Twitter, they mock us. This brother was more respectful than others, but still, his friends joined in the mockery. So we held this debate, and this debate will be sent to all of them. So now we will see that what was the difference between us two here. The difference was I gave Quran. I gave chapter 3 verse 145. That all messages before Nabi Sallallahu had passed away. I gave the Ijma of Sahaba. I gave him his own scholars. I showed Inni mutawafika means mumituka from Sahih Bukhari. His response, az-zaif tafsir. What is this? Then he did shock me. He said he would shock me. He did. Then I gave chapter 5 verse 117 that on the day of judgment, Hazrat Isa is unaware of the shirk of the people. If he came back, broke the cross, did everything he believes, including killing disbelievers, which he hid because he knew this would be recorded. Why is he saying on the day of judgment? He doesn't know. Then I also gave many other verses from the Holy Quran, and he failed to address any. He would respond with, oh, but the scholar said Rafa Hayyan, but Allah never said that. According to Allah the Almighty, the Quran, Hadith, and Sahaba, whenever Allah causes Rafa on a human being, it is always in terms of darajat. It is not a bodily raise. You study the Bible. The Jews weren't waiting for a physical ascension. They denied Hazrat Isa's spiritual raise. So Allah is responding to them that Allah raised him to himself. And you are making the same mistake as the Jews. You study the Bible, you know why the Jews rejected Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. They said, where's Elijah? Read Malachi 4 or 5. What did Hazrat Isa alayhi salam answer them with? He said, John the Baptist is the second coming of Elijah. So Hazrat Isa alayhi salam showed that a name of a prophet can be used, but the spiritual second coming will be someone else. And keep making the faces. The audience is going to watch this, right? So you're just making yourself look bad right now. Then you never answered any hadith I gave of Sahih Bukhari, including complexion, graves of prophets, Tanveer al-Mikbas, you gave Zaif Rawayat. I showed you Miraj, Nabi Sallallahu met the souls. You never addressed that either. Then you said, show me, you quoted Al-Aqib. You never addressed Mullah Ali Qari's refutation of your false interpretation. Then all you said in this debate was Isa alayhi salam was raised to the heavens. You never answered any point. You never quoted a single verse of Quran. You gave me interpretations of scholars, but you never quoted the verse. You could not quote a single verse. I was expecting you to at least bring some verse which the mullahs of today quote. Basali, you have it. I gave you Ibn Taymiyyah. I gave you so many references, and you just discarded them all. When we use Rafa, even in Salat, it's spiritual rays. There's no verse in the Quran that says Hazrat Isa alayhi salam is alive in the heavens and will return. So according to the Quran, he is dead. He will never return. According to the Quran, on the Day of Judgment, he's unaware of what the people did after him. He only mentions 2 time frames, when he was among the people and when he wasn't. And what separated them was tawaffaytani. Nabi Sallallahu said it means death. Sahaba said it means death. Ibn Abbas, inni mutawaffika mumituka. All Sahaba had ijma on this. This is the first ijma of Sahaba. You claim to be Salafi and discarded the first ijma. You still never denied being Shia. And I'm asking this respectfully. If you're a Shia, I have no issue, but on Twitter, it doesn't seem like it. Then the next thing was, if all Sahaba believed Isa alayhi salam died, where are you coming from with the scholars of way after the Sahaba? You never showed a single reference of any companion saying Inni mutawafika means other than death. Ibn Abbas said it's in Sahih Bukhari. Imam Bukhari is on my side. Even Imam Malik believed Isa alayhi salam died. Imam Ibn Hazm said Isa alayhi salam died. He said those who say tawaffa means what you're saying are completely wrong. You never addressed this either. You told me you're Salafi. In the start, you were hiding your sect. And this is the reason I asked, because I knew that I'll bring out your own references and you won't be able to respond. So in my last minute, I'm going to give you some interpretations of other scholars. Imam Raghib in chapter 4, verse 69, he supports our interpretation. Hazrat Abdul Qadir Jilani supports our interpretation of Prophet. Imam Baydawi, now here's your reference you wanted. I kept this for the end as a gift. Eid came early for you, brother. Tafsir Baydawi, under chapter 7, verse 35, he says that the coming of messengers is possible, but not a must. Hazrat Abdul Kareem Jalani said prophets can come. Imam al-Razi said Khatamul Anbiya means Afdalul Anbiya. Hazrat Imam Suyuti said anyone who says the latter Messiah is not a Nabi has committed kufr. Mullah Ali Qari said that, gave our interpretation of Khatm al-Nabuwa. Hazrat Imam Barzandi gave our interpretation of Khatm al-Nabuwa. All these references are present. They're all on my website. Hazrat Shah Waliullah Devi gave our interpretation. So you have nothing to prove your point, brother. Now, last thing in my 10 seconds, look at how Arab use Khatam. Hazrat Ali is called Khatamul Awliya. Hazrat Imam Shafi is called Khatamul Awliya. Hazrat Ibn Arabi is called Khatamul Awliya. Shah Waliullah Devi is Khatamul Muhaddisin.
Fine.
I had 2 seconds. You cut me off, but it's fine.
Okay, before the debate, he said he will not raise any new points at the conclusion, but he did. He's talking about Rafa'a, always means spiritual in the Quran. This is false. So I will address it because it was brought up. Chapter 19, verse 57, when it talks about Idris, it talks about him being raised. Now in Sahih Muslim, book 1, hadith number 309, it says it's a literal raising. He went to the 4th heaven, and this is where Rasulullah saw him. This is also mentioned in Al-Qurtubi. That is done. Now he's saying that I never responded to anything. Well, how can I respond to something that was not cited? Now he's saying it's all on his website and stuff, but this is a debate. The sources should be brought with you. It shouldn't be left on your website. Yes, I did you the courtesy of looking on your website just to prepare for the debate, which just shows how much you've prepared for our debate. Now, I'm speaking to the audience. Okay? I've cited every single reference. I've explicitly said that I will be using the sources that he uses in order to show how he is false. This is why I never brought any sources of my own. I used the exact same source references that he wanted to use in order to prove his claim false. Now, I provided Qurtubi, I provided Ibn Abbas, I provided Kalimat al-Quran, which all explicitly say that Matawaffa means he was raised alive. In chapter 4, verse 157, I didn't want to bring it out because Ahmadis don't believe that Jesus died on the cross. Okay, they believed he died a natural death. However, the same word rafa'a is used in the following verse, verse 158, and he's saying it's not literal. Put these verses together, you see a holistic picture. Now, I really don't know what much to say. He keeps repeating himself, saying I haven't responded, but I have, and every time I ask him for a reference, he just gives me a lot of names. How am I supposed to respond to shotgun names with no citations? You can't do that, especially with 5-minute intervals. How long do I have? I've got 2.5 minutes or so. Okay. So yeah, it would be up to you guys. I showed him the Arabic in verse 3, in chapter 3, verse 144. Al-harf jar min means from. Okay. Al-rusul does not change it. Just because it's a noun, it doesn't mean all. He hasn't. Now he's saying, "Oh, I've left the Badawi till last." Well, why didn't you bring it up in the debate? And you still haven't. You cited a chapter 2, but no page, no, and nothing from that page. So again, even though you're bringing stuff really late to things we're not supposed to bring up, as per agreed, you did so, and you still couldn't cite them properly. So yeah, the reason I used the sources that he used is because it doesn't help him, and this is how sure I am that we have the truth, that I don't need to bring my own. And again, I will ask you guys, the audience, this question. In Sahih Muslim, hadith number 2937a, Rasul is identifying the person to come. Okay, now if you're watching this and you're Ahmadi, you have to ask yourselves, if it is Ghulam Ahmad that you believe that he is to come, why is Ibn Maryam referenced in the hadith as the person to come? Why is that the case? This is a question for you. Check the references, watch this back, check the references that I have provided, because I have cited all of my references. Razi did say he will provide the references, but this is post-debate. This is not something that you will hear. Therefore, you cannot check what he is saying. Bear this in mind. You cannot check what he's saying, and my time is done. Jazakumullah khairan. Barakallah fiqh, Brother Razi, for this debate.
Okay, brother. So the debate is done. I just want to say one thing, if you permit me. Just one quick thing. I think it was a mistake. A mistake, but accidental. Obviously, I know you didn't say this on purpose, but if you allow me, it's just a small point. I think it was accidental. That's why I want to just, if you allow, you can choose.
Oh, not really, because then what do you call it? We've made our closing remarks. I mean, you can tell me what my mistake was.
But the thing is, I don't want the viewers to think you lied on purpose. That's the only thing. Like, I know it was an accident, so I just you can clarify yourself too. It's not like I end the debate and done. You can clarify.
You can. All right, fair enough. Go on.
Okay. So just a quick thing. You mentioned chapter 19, verse 57, and you said warafa now makanan aliyah, according to Sahih Muslim, it means there. This isn't true. You can look at the hadith yourself. That hadith is actually about Miraj, where the prophets saw all the souls of the prophets, including Isa, Yahya, Ibrahim. So if you say Idris is alive, all of them are alive. As for Idris being alive, Ibn Hajar said those hadiths are not authentic at all in Fathul Bari. I have the scan in front of me, so that's all I have to correct you on.
Well, what do they call it? Jazakallah, if you want to correct me on that, but I've checked the ijma on the scholars that this is the hadith they use in order to reference, in order to prove that Idris alayhi salam was raised to the fourth heaven before he died, because Malak al-Maut, as you know, took his soul in the fourth heaven.
That's what I'm telling you. Ibn Hajar said those are all weak references, and the hadith you're quoting is about Miraj. It mentions all the Anbiya.
Yes, I know it's about a Miraj and it mentions all the Anbiya, but because it is a Sahih hadith that talks about Idris alayhi salam going up to the being in the fourth heaven, Others have said 6. You know, some have said paradise. There have been multiple interpretations, but because of this hadith being on the 4th, I've done my homework on this hadith on my sources. I know what you're.
If you say so, because all other prophets are mentioned, then you should say they're all alive. Anyways, so I'm gonna stop the recording here. So Jazakallah for everyone who will listen to this debate. Make sure to go to Brother Muhammad's Twitter page and send it to his followers as well, so everyone can see both sides clearly. And I will be tweeting the debate as well. And any reference I quote or he quotes, I think he agrees and I agree, we're ready to present it. All of them are online on my website. So Jazakallah khair for everyone watching.
Just before you end it, I do want to clarify that when we do put it up, we will cut out the bits in between the sessions so that they don't, you know.
If you have not yet subscribed, make sure to subscribe and click on the bell icon so you can get notifications for every new video. Also make sure to like and comment on the video and follow on Twitter and Instagram.
سفينا صل على محمد